Imagine moving into your dream home only to have it turn into your worst nightmare. This is the chilling true story of the Atlanta House of Blood. In 1987, William and Minnie Winston, along with their young son, found what they thought was the perfect house in a quiet Atlanta neighborhood. It was everything they wanted. But just weeks after moving in, their dream began to unravel in the most terrifying way imaginable. It started subtly. A strange coppery smell would waft through the halls. Then, small reddish-brown spots began to appear on the walls and floors. At first, they dismissed it, thinking it might be rust or a plumbing issue. But the spots grew larger, darker, and more sinister. One evening, Minnie was in the kitchen when she let out a scream. William rushed in to find her staring at a wall, her face pale with horror. A thick, dark red liquid was slowly oozing from the plaster, dripping down to the floor in a sickening puddle. It looked exactly like blood. Soon this horrifying phenomenon wasn't confined to the kitchen. The living room walls began to weep crimson tears. The upstairs bathroom floor became slick with a mysterious red fluid. The entire house seemed to be bleeding. Panic set in. The Winstons called the police, who were baffled. They called plumbers and contractors, but no one could find a rational explanation. There were no leaking pipes, no chemical spills. Samples of the substance were sent for analysis. The results were inconclusive, but one lab technician unofficially told them it had properties remarkably similar to human blood. The family was living in a constant state of fear. They would wake up in the middle of the night to find fresh pools of the red liquid in their hallways, sometimes even in their son's bedroom. They felt a constant oppressive presence, as if the house itself was watching them. Desperate for answers, they turned to paranormal investigators. A team arrived armed with cameras, audio recorders, and EMF meters. The moment they stepped inside, their equipment went wild. The investigators documented the walls bleeding firsthand, capturing the viscous red substance seeping through the paint. But that was just the beginning. During their investigation, objects began to move on their own. Chairs skidded across the living room floor. Kitchen cabinet doors flew open with violent force. Disembodied whispers were captured on their audio recordings, faint voices that seemed to be arguing in a language no one could understand. The team felt cold spots that would move around the rooms, and several members reported being pushed or touched by an unseen force. The house was not just haunted. It felt alive, and it was angry. The investigators delved into the property's history, hoping to find a clue. They uncovered a dark secret. Decades earlier, before the house was even built, the land had been the site of a bitter and violent dispute between two families, which ended in a tragic and bloody confrontation. It seemed the land itself was stained with the memory of this violence, and the house had somehow absorbed that malevolent energy. The bleeding, the moving objects, the angry whispers, it was all a reenactment of the past, a spectral echo trapped within the walls. But here's where the story takes its darkest turn. The paranormal team believed they were dealing with a powerful poltergeist, an entity tied to the land's traumatic history. However, one of the investigators, a seasoned psychic, felt something more. She believed the entity wasn't just residual energy. It was intelligent, and it was feeding on the family's fear. She warned them that the house wasn't just replaying the past, it was trying to create a new tragedy. The entity was targeting the Winstons' young son, attempting to possess him to carry out its violent cycle anew. Faced with this horrifying revelation, the Winstons knew they had to escape. They packed their belongings and fled in the middle of the night, leaving the house and almost everything they owned behind. They never looked back. The Atlanta House of Blood remains standing to this day, outwardly a normal house on a quiet street. But those who know its story say that on certain nights, if you look closely, you can still see the walls weeping for the tragedy buried beneath its foundation. What do you think? Is it a hoax, a bizarre natural phenomenon, or a truly malevolent haunting? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more strange and mysterious stories. See you next time.